Welcome to NFL Imperialism. You may have seen this concept floating around YouTube, but I wanted to put my own spin on it and hopefully improve it. Before we get started, I humbly ask that you take a moment to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button. This is going to be a series, and this channel has some other videos as well, sports related, entertainment related. We do a lot here, trying to grow the audience. We appreciate the fact that you're here right now. We ask that you continue to stay with us. Please subscribe to the channel. Thank you. If you're interested in a full, thorough breakdown of how this imperialism works, please check out the first 3 minutes or so of the 1966 video, which is linked in the description below. Otherwise, we are ready to start. Today, we will be jumping into the 1974 season. And in this season, we had the emergence of a new dynasty, the Steel Curtain-led Pittsburgh Steelers. And indeed, in 1974 Super Bowl IX, the Pittsburgh Steelers won, defeating the once again NFC champion and once again NFL runner-up Minnesota Vikings. Can these teams be the one to win imperialism in 1974? Looking at the rankings, actually, coming in at number 1 are the Washington Redskins. These are the same guys that won the 71-72 imperialism. The Steelers rank second. The Dolphins, defending 2-time Super Bowl champions prior to this season, haven't really fallen off. They're still number 5. The Vikings slot in right there at number 4. We have some of the same usual suspects taking up the bottom 5, but as we like to say, anything can happen in imperialism, and there's only one way to find out who's going to win, and that's to go and play the games. We're kicking this thing off with the first spin of the wheel, and we're going to get a guaranteed expansion here. The Broncos are in isolation to start, as they always are. Go slightly to the southeast. A little bit further could have been Oklahoma, but we're going to go ahead and land them in the state of New Mexico. That's an expansion, and just like that, they are no longer in isolation. We'll give this wheel another spin, and it's going to be landing on the Colts, a bottom 5 team from 1974. The arrow goes to the southeast. Because of its proximity to Washington, that's going to be a game. So the bottom 5 team, Colts, are going to be on the road at the number 1 ranked Washington Redskins. Here we go. The Redskins take the ball on their opening drive, take it right down to the 10-yard line. Handoff goes to Larry Brown. Turns the corner, drags him into the end zone for the touchdown. Just like that, no worries. Washington leads 7-0 and the romp is on. Or is it? It's actually 7-7 here in the third quarter. The Colts hand it off to Lydell Mitchell up the middle, spins around, turns on the Jets. The Colts lead 14-7 here. Washington hasn't been able to do anything since their opening drive. It's now later in the third. Washington looking to make their comeback. They're in Colts territory. Billy Kilmer drops back to pass, throws, and he's intercepted by Doug Nettles. That's going to actually set up a Colts field goal drive, 17-7. The Redskins have 3rd and 1 inside the 20-yard line. The pitch goes to Larry Brown. He's taken down. They're going to go for it. They could kick the field goal here, but they're choosing to go for it. Handoff to Moses Denson. He's stopped. And what we have here is possibly the biggest upset in all the imperialisms we've done to this point. The Colts go to Washington, the number 1 team from 1974, and beat them on their field 17-7. Looking at the map, Washington has the smallest territory of any team on the map, and the Colts are going to take it. But the size of the territory does not compare to the size of the victory. Our number 1 team after the first game is out. Baltimore moves on. With our top team out, we spin the wheel again. It's going to creep past the Eagles to the Chargers. The arrow is going to go to the northeast. Not a lot of room there, but that's enough room for the Chargers to hit Nevada. That's going to be an expansion. Heading on back to the wheel, and we look like we're going to stay out west. That's going to be the 49ers. Arrow's going to head slightly to the northwest. That is going to catch the southwestern tip of Oregon. So the 49ers will also be expanding into that land. Let's see if the third time is indeed the charm. It is landing here on the Lions. The arrow is going to head southeast. So the Lions and Browns are going to renew hostilities here in Imperialism. That game's going to be in Cleveland. Not a lot of offense in this game, but what there was, there was. This is very early on. Mike Phipps drops back, has all day, fires deep. That is wide receiver Steve Holden, and they can't quite catch him. It's a touchdown from 59 yards out. The Browns are going to lead 7-0. We're going to go ahead and go to the second quarter. From outside the 40-yard line, Bill Munson pitches to Alty Taylor. And he's not quite the speedster he has been in earlier years, but this man still has a lot of power. Get off me. That is a touchdown. We're tied at 7. And that's going to be our halftime score. That's going to be our score going into the fourth quarter with 3 seconds remaining. The Browns inside the 50. They hand it off up the middle, and what's more, the Lions were ready for it. So weren't trying to score there. We're going to overtime, tied at 7. After an exchange of punts in overtime, the Lions have it. The pitch goes to Alty Taylor, goes around the edge, and the Browns defense is nowhere to be seen. That's going to be another long touchdown run. Every touchdown in this game was scored from at least 35 yards out, all 3 of them indeed. 13-7 in overtime, the Lions win. So after all that, Northern Ohio will no longer belong to the Browns. The Lions take over that territory, get yet another win in Imperialism, and expand their land. We're going to run through some expansions here. First, the Steelers are going to head southwest and grab the state of West Virginia. Will now give us barely the Vikings. That's going to head about south, so they're going to be taking the state of Iowa. And we're going to go back to the Steelers. That arrow is going to take them southeast, so they're going to now grab Virginia. And they surround the Colts. That's who's coming up next. But that arrow is going to the northeast, so they're going to grab Delaware. One more spin of the wheel here is going to be the Lions. They're back. And the arrow's going southeast. So after all that, the Lions are now going to play back-to-back games in Ohio. This one's going to be against the Bengals in Cincinnati. The Bengals have stayed in this game, but here it is in the fourth quarter. The Lions lead 7-10 in the red zone. Pass to the end zone's caught by Charlie Sanders. That is a touchdown. Another one for the Hall of Fame tight end during this Imperialism run. And the Lions have won back-to-back games. 24-7 is your final score. So the state of Ohio now completely belongs to the Lions. The Bengals are out of the game, and the Lions continue to move on. We're slowly ramping up in 1974. The wheel will give us the Jets or the Falcons. The Falcons. The arrow goes west, slightly southwest, so that's actually not going to hit Florida. The Falcons get to dodge the Dolphins for a little while. They will expand into Alabama. We'll go here for another spin. That is going to pass the Patriots and go to the Bills. Arrow goes to the northeast. We're going to get another expansion. The Bills will leave New York, head into Vermont, and expand their land. Lots of early expansion. We're hoping for a run of games coming up soon. The wheel won't choose the Patriots again. It'll choose the Falcons and avoid the Dolphins no more. They did expand their land, but now they're traveling into Florida, which might give them a chance. But not much of one. Dolphins in complete control. The handoff here goes to Don Nottingham right up the middle. He is escorted into the end zone by the Falcons defense. The Falcons can't beat the Dolphins right now. This is not a thing they can do. 33-3, that will be our final score. Falcons held on in the first and third quarter, but that's just about it. As has been the case for every Imperialism we have done to this point, the southeastern corner of the U.S. now turns aqua. The Dolphins are in isolation and will await their next opponent whenever that may come. Back to the wheel we go. It will be stopping on the Cowboys. The arrow is going to take them slightly to the northeast. That's actually going to skim the state of Oklahoma. The Cowboys will expand their land. We are doing a lot of expansion. We are going to be looking for a game here. It might hit the Cowboys again. Nope, the Saints. Arrow's going to go to the northeast. We're going to get another expansion. The Saints are going to expand into Mississippi. That will end the Dolphins' isolationism, and at this point in time, no team on the map is in isolation. So given that fact, we're hoping to get a few more games in here before we get too many more expansions. That's going to land on the Rams, and the arrow is going to take them southeast, so yes, we will be getting a game here. The Rams will be traveling to San Diego to face the Chargers. As could be expected, the Rams are in complete control of this one. Here in the second half, the pass goes to receiver Harold Jackson. Leaping catch, runs it in the rest of the way for the touchdown. The Chargers are a bit overmatched in this game. The Rams take a 27-0 lead. Final score is 34-3. The Chargers, guess they didn't want to get shut out. They kicked the field goal. Looking at the map here, the Chargers had picked up a decent amount of land. They will cede all of that to the Rams. And looking forward now, we're going to try to see if we can't get some more close games. It's taken a little bit of time, but 5 teams have now been eliminated. The wheel here is going to land on the New York Jets. That's going to head slightly northeast, and our map configurations has them going to face the Giants. So the state of New Jersey will be on the line. The Jets are clinging to a 4-point lead in the fourth quarter, but they're at the edge of the end zone. The handoff goes to Mike Adamle. He sneaks it across the plane for the touchdown. The Jets extend their lead 24-13. The Giants will drive back. It's 4th and 10. They've gotten it down to the 20, but they got to go for it here. Craig Morton throws, and it's knocked down at the line. That's going to be it. Jets are going to hold on to win the game 24-13. So the state of New Jersey, which was once shared by the Giants and Jets, will now belong only to the Jets. Back to the wheel we go, and it's going to be close between the Vikings and Bears. It's going to just stay with the Vikings. And speaking of close, we need a photo finish there, and that's not going to do it. We need a close-up photo finish, and we can see that this arrow is just barely entering the Cardinals' territory. So the Vikings will travel to St. Louis to play the Cardinals. The Vikings lead by 10 in the second half. They're right at about the 20-yard line. Pitch left to Chuck Foreman, breaks a tackle, tiptoes the sideline, gets in for the touchdown. And the Cardinals are looking like they're in a tough spot here. They're going to be down 31-14, but they are going to come roaring back. Just outside the 25, Jim Hart drops back, slings it to Mel Gray. He's open, gets into the end zone for the touchdown. There's still work to do, but that does cut the deficit down to 10 points. And indeed, they get the ball back from just outside the 40-yard line, 2.5 minutes to go. The crossing pattern to Gray, and he just gets away from everybody. That is another touchdown for Gray. He had a monster game in this one. 31-27. They wind up missing the extra point. The Vikings do have a chance to put it away on this next drive. The pitch goes to Foreman left. He runs around. Everybody scores the touchdown. Not enough time for the Cardinals to come back in this one. They did well to put up 27 points on this Vikings defense, though. Final score, Minnesota wins in a bit of a shootout, 38-27. So for the first time in a while, we're going to continue to see a split Missouri. It's been where the Chiefs or the Cardinals are winning it from each other. The Vikings take Eastern Missouri, get an extra little slip of land to add to what they already have, and they continue to expand their territory. The games are coming at a faster pace now. Let's see if the wheel wants to give us another one. It will land on the Colts with the arrow taking them to the southwest. So, the Colts already went out and beat the number 1 team in our rankings on the road. Now they're going on the road to the number 2 team and the reigning Super Bowl champions. Can the Colts knock off the Steelers? Maybe. It's 10-7 late in the third. Inside the 10, the handoff goes to Lydell Mitchell untouched into the end zone. The Colts are looking to do the impossible twice. They lead 17-7. The Steelers will not go away quietly, though. 3rd and 12, all the way back at their own 17. Terry Bradshaw drops back, throws it to Ron Shanklin. They leave him alone, and that's a big third down conversion. Later on the same drive, from the 13-yard line, the handoff goes to Franco Harris, bursts through the middle and gets into the end zone. That will make it 17-13 with the extra point pending. Make it a 3-point game when all that's done. Unless they have other plans. They're going to go for 2. Interesting. 13-17. Handoff goes to Rocky Blyer, and that's a great 2-yard run. Drag them all the way through. Here is the onside kick, and the Steelers are converging on it, and they recover. So, very next play from just behind midfield. Up the middle to Harris again. Breaks through, gets the first down. A lot more. They track him down, but he breaks the tackle, and he's all the way into the end zone for the touchdown. What a furious comeback. This time they do kick the extra point, 22-17. There's still time on the clock, though. The Colts bringing it up the field. Burt Jones drops back, throws it, and it's picked off by Mike Wagner. And the Colts' dream of a second upset comes to a crashing end. What a game this was. Pittsburgh scores 15 unanswered points in the fourth quarter. Come from behind, avoid the upset. They win 22-17. Looking at the map here, the Colts didn't have a lot of land, but they made a lot of noise. The Steelers will take that over and are looking like a big favorite going forward. Gotta give it up for the Colts one more time. What a run they had, even though it was only 2 games long. The wheel spin will give us the Rams. The arrow will take them into the southeast. That's going to be an expansion. The state of Arizona now belongs to LA. We'll spin this wheel a second time, and it might land on the Rams again. No, it'll go to the Bills. The arrow will take them south, slightly southwest. That's going to send them into eastern Pennsylvania to face off with the Eagles. Philly trails 13-6 in the third quarter. The handoff goes to Poe James, in for the injured Tom Sullivan, makes a couple of nice moves, and breaks the plane of the goal line. That's a touchdown. This game is now tied at 13 apiece. On the next drive, the Bills take it down to the 12. Also in for the injured J.D. Hill, this is Bob Chandler making the great catch in the end zone. The Eagles didn't lead for long. Buffalo right back in there, 20-13. We're now in the fourth, and the Eagles are trying to tie things up. From the 14, Roman Gabriel drops back to pass, holds it for too long. Walt Patulski runs him over, causes the fumble. It's picked up by Robert James. The Eagles would not see the ball again. Final score, Buffalo wins 20-13. Their invasion is successful. Looking at the map here, eastern Pennsylvania will now fall to the Bills, and Buffalo expands their territory. Our next game will bring us our 10th elimination. The wheel is going to land on the Patriots. It seems like a likely expansion, but that goes straight west. And that's something we haven't seen on an early Patriots spin in Imperialism. So they are going to play, and they're going to be in Buffalo. The Bills fell behind 7-0, but now lead 10-7 late in the first half. Joe Ferguson throws into the end zone. Tight end Paul Seymour makes the great catch. The Bills will take a 17-7 lead and hold the Patriots at arm's length for the rest of the game. A 26-14 final. So, the Patriots usually last a lot deeper into our Imperialism just based on their location. But this time, the Bills will take their location, adding to what they already have, and with the Steelers are looking like the team in the Northeast right now. We're now down to our Sweet 16, as the wheel will barely give us the Steelers. Arrow's going to take them to the south, so they're going to expand. That is the state of North Carolina. We'll give this wheel another go. It is going to get past the Chiefs and go into the Saints. The arrow is going to give us a photo finish, and if you look there, that is barely going to miss the state of Arkansas and hit the Oilers territory. Saints at Oilers, coming right up. We're tied at 7 in the second quarter, actually getting really close to halftime. Dan Pastorini drops back, has all day, floats it to Ken Burrow in the end zone for the touchdown. The Oilers fell behind 7-0, but they now lead 14-7. The Saints, undaunted, are making their comeback. This game is now tied at 14 in the third quarter. Archie Manning finds Bob Newland, who does the rest. The Saints now take back the lead at 21-14. They would not relinquish that lead. They added on a little at the end. 30-14 is the final score. The Saints go into Houston, win the game, and grab that portion of Texas for their own. With teams now falling out like flies, we're going to spin the wheel again, and that is going to go with the Jets. Arrow's going to take them directly west, right into the heart of the Buffalo Bills territory. We got a great AFC East matchup coming up next. Buffalo in complete control of this game, middle of the second quarter, leading 14-0. Joe Ferguson drops back, looking for J.D. Hill in the end zone, makes the catch in double coverage. That is now a 21-0 Buffalo lead. They led 21-3 at the half. But the Jets, they're trying to come back. Here from the 13-yard line, down 21-10, the pitch goes to John Riggins. Caught on the sideline, breaks a couple of tackles, gets into the end zone, and just like that, they're coming back. They missed a 2-point conversion. It's 21-16. Buffalo has it again, 3rd and 20. Kind of a tough spot here. The play action, the pass intended for Ahmad Rashad is intercepted. And the Jets, now only down 5 with the third quarter about to expire, have the ball. They take it down to the 7-yard line. Play action pass. That is a touchdown. Joe Namath throws it into the end zone to a wide open wide receiver, David Knight. Extra point makes it 23-21. Buffalo trying to now reestablish the lead. Handoff goes to O.J. Simpson, gets around a couple of guys, picks up 20 yards. Buffalo's offense does stagnate from here. The 38-yard field goal attempt. John Leipold comes out for the kick. It is up. It is good. So Buffalo lost the lead, but have it back, 24-23. 4th and 13 now for the Jets, a minute 25 to go. Namath drops back. The pass to Jerome Barkham is caught. What a play. They are in field goal range now. Bobby Howfield out for the Jets to try the 23-yarder. Not too much pressure, and he misses. Oh, what a way to lose. What a game. Buffalo led 21-0. The Jets scored 23 unanswered, but Buffalo kicks the field goal, which turns out to be the game winner. They win the game and advance 24-23. Looking at the map here, the state of New Jersey will now fall to the Buffalo Bills. Now, Buffalo was a playoff team in 1974. They're looking like they're going to make some noise here. They only lost in the playoffs to the Steelers, and a showdown with them now seems imminent. We come down from that excitement and get the wheel spun to get our next game, and it's going to land on Buffalo. Might we see them again immediately? Yes. Wow, that matchup that we said was imminent is happening right now. Buffalo will travel to Pittsburgh. In a tight defensive struggle, Pittsburgh late in the game, lead by 3, trying to put it away. Franco Harris around the edge, somehow stays in bounds, breaks tackles, gets in for the touchdown. Harris did not have a good game today, but he made this play, put Pittsburgh up 17-7. That's going to be our final score. Buffalo was valiant in 1974 Imperialism, but they do go down. So now only one team survives in the Northeast. The Bills are out, the Steelers take over their land, and as reigning Super Bowl champions, have to be considered the favorites. Half of our 26 teams remain. Of the 13 that are still playing, one is the Denver Broncos. That's who the wheel selects. The arrow takes them north. Nobody there to play. That's the state of Wyoming. They're going to expand and make their land bigger. Next up here on the big wheel, we get the Miami Dolphins. The arrow is going to take them northwest. That's a photo finish. And that is incredible. That tiny little piece of border between the Dolphins and the Steelers has been breached. That just passes South Carolina. And we are about to get a heavyweight matchup worthy of the Imperialism Championship game. The Dolphins, two-time defending Super Bowl champions, defending Imperialism champions. The Steelers, reigning Super Bowl champions, will host this game, and now they're going to put their favorite status to the test against a team that can take it from them. We're tied at 7 in the second quarter. The Dolphins face 3rd and 10 from the 20. Bob Greasy drops back, dumps it off to fullback Larry Zonka, not known as a great receiver, but he made it work on that play. Gets in for the touchdown. Dolphins lead 14-7. That's our score now in the fourth quarter. The Steelers face 4th and 9. Make or break, do or die. Terry Bradshaw drops back. Finds Ron Shanklin alone. They get him down quickly, but it's a huge gain. They keep the ball. 2 plays later, it's 3rd and 4 from just outside the 15. Bradshaw looking, the comebacker to Shanklin, and they get him, but it's too late. He gets into the end zone. Extra point ties it. The Steelers' defense is going to step up huge and force an immediate 3 and out. The Steelers hand it off to Franco Harris. He's stuck behind the line, but gets through. Breaks a tackle. Drags him. The clock is ticking. Will they come out and kick the field goal immediately? They will. 11 seconds on the clock. It's tied at 14. Roy Gorella from 45 yards out. The Dolphins put no pressure on him. The kick is up. It's good. And the Steelers again make a furious fourth quarter comeback to win a game 17-14 over the Dolphins. So the Steelers are kind of just getting by, but that's what great teams will do sometimes. Looking at this map, Miami is off of it, and the Steelers now pretty much control the entire eastern seaboard. Still some teams we haven't heard from. The wheel is going to give us one of those teams, the Chicago Bears. The arrow is going to be taking them to the southwest. That is directly into the Vikings territory. All of today's NFC North teams are still alive in this Imperialism. One of them will now go down. Bears at Vikings. The Bears held on as long as they could, entering the fourth quarter down only 7-3. Over the course of the whole game, they couldn't really slow the Vikings down. That's fullback Dave Osborne taking the pitch, dragging a defender into the end zone for the touchdown. This would put the Vikings up 23-3. Our final score will be 30-3. Invasion not successful. Looking at the map here, Minnesota, the NFC champions, continue to expand their territory. They enter the state of Illinois and add that to their land. We're going to do a quick round of expansion here. The wheel lands on the Rams. Arrow's going to take them to the northeast. That is the state of Utah. Now the Chiefs, first time we've heard from them this season. Arrow goes south. They will expand into Arkansas. Give the wheel another spin. It'll go to the 49ers. And they continue going north. They will expand into Washington. This wheel will give us, it's going to be the Saints. Arrow's going to head northeast. So that's going to be a game that is close to hitting the Chiefs' territory, but it will hit the Steelers. So the Steelers have had a couple of close games here. Getting the Saints at home should be a bit of a reprieve. Let's see how it turns out. And the Steelers did have a bit of an easier time in this one. Late in the third quarter, leading 21-6. Pass goes to tight end Larry Brown. Gets in for the touchdown. That would extend the score to 28-6. And that's all she wrote. That would be the final score here. The Saints did a lot better this season than they did last season when they ran into the Cowboys. But the bottom line is they lost. Now looking at the map, the Saints are wiped out and the Steelers pretty much own the Atlantic Ocean and the Gulf Coast. We're going to do a lightning expansion round. A lot of expansion this season, 1974. Steelers go northwest. They will claim the state of Tennessee. The wheel will now select the 49ers. They will head east directly into Idaho. We're going to go right back to the Steelers. And they're going to head southeast, finally claiming South Carolina. Pass it right back to the 49ers. And they're going to go northeast again, but that's going to clearly go into Montana. And now a new team, the Broncos. Might they finally play a game? Yes. Heads a little bit to the southwest, but that's going directly into the Rams territory. Broncos at Rams is now coming up. The Broncos led at the end of the first quarter, but that's pretty much all the sunlight they got. Right on the edge of the goal line, the handoff goes to Jim Bertelston. He breaks through to give the Rams a 27-7 lead. They tacked a couple more on. Our final score will be 41-7 with the Rams winning easily. Looking at the map now, the Broncos kind of have that little slip of land through the Colorado Rockies, but now will go to the Rams. And the Rams will expand their land and make it even deeper in imperialism. We revisit our old friend the wheel, and it's going to land again on the Steelers. Arrow's going to take them to the northwest. They're going to continue to expand their empire into Kentucky. Another spin of the wheel here. Passes the Steelers, gives us the Cowboys. Arrow's going to take them north. That's an expansion into Kansas. And we're going to go again on this wheel, and it's going to be the Cowboys again. Might they continue going north? That's going to be west. So we're going to get a great game here, Cowboys and Rams. Incidentally, a rematch of the Imperialism 2 championship from 1967. The Cowboys lead by 1 point late in the fourth quarter. The draw play to Robert Newhouse off the bench, making some great moves and doesn't quite get into the end zone. Very next play, Walt Garrison's going to get in. That's going to give the Cowboys some breathing room here, but not as much as they'd want. The extra point is blocked. So it's 16-9. The Rams are trying to tie this up. It's 4th and 8. Play action. James Harris looking for his main man, Harold Jackson. Knocked away by the defense. Low-scoring but entertaining and exciting. Dallas wins the game 16-9. So let's take a look at the map here. We see how much land the Steelers have. But now that the Cowboys take the Rams' land, they might have just as much, if not even a little bit more. That now brings us down to 8 teams, 4 of whom have not yet seen the field. And from those 4, 2 that we've not heard from at all. Might we see one of the missing 4 on the field this time? The wheel's going to land on the Packers. Our first time hearing from them at all, and they will be seeing the field. The arrow takes them northeast to play the Lions in Detroit. Here we go with that game. The Lions have controlled this game from the outset, but only lead 10-0 here in the third quarter. The pitch goes to Steve Owens, and he bullies his way into the end zone. This will give the Lions a lead of 17-6, and they just played with their food the rest of the way. That's going to be our final score. The Lions get the victory. They're going to pick up the state of Wisconsin from Green Bay, and they move on in imperialism. The end is nigh. We can feel it coming. This wheel is going to land on the Chiefs. It's going to stay out of the Steelers' territory, but the Chiefs will not stay out of the Steelers' territory. That's going to be an invasion. The Chiefs are going to go to Pittsburgh, and that game will start now. Well, Pittsburgh's right where they want to be, down 14 points in the second half. This is probably where they start their comeback. Terry Bradshaw fires. That is badly overthrown. Intercepted by the Chiefs. Okay, a roadblock in the comeback attempt. Here from the 35-yard line, the Chiefs have the ball. Len Dawson drops back. Looks for old reliable there. Otis Taylor makes a catch and gets away. Can he get into the end zone? Not quite. The Steelers have a chance to hold up here. They blitz. Taylor on the outlet. That's a touchdown. This is going to be 21-0. The Pittsburgh comeback never came. This was actually a blowout. The Chiefs handled business in Pittsburgh, no problem. A 31-6 upset victory. Let's take a look now here at the map. The Steelers acquired all this land. It now belongs to the Chiefs. And with 6 teams remaining, this seems like a wide open competition. Who will win imperialism? 5 games remain. Let's find out. We've still got two teams we've yet to see on the field. Might the wheel select them? No. The Vikings are called. The arrow takes them to the northeast. So we're going to get Vikings and Lions. The NFC North is going to be done cannibalizing each other after this game. We're in the fourth quarter. The Vikings lead 13-7, looking to extend that. Play action pass goes to John Gilliam alone in the end zone. That's going to be a touchdown. The Lions have their backs against the wall here. They trail 20-7, but they're not out of this yet. 2:42 left in the game. Bill Munson drops back. Fullback Alty Taylor slips out, makes a diving catch, gets away from the tackler. That's going to be a touchdown for the Lions, so a little tit for tat there. They do kick the ball away, trying to stop the Vikings offense. From the 34, Fran Tarkenton pitches to Chuck Foreman. Gets around the end, picks up a first down, gets a lot more, spins away, breaks a tackle, breaks another tackle, gets it all the way down inside the 10-yard line. That led to a field goal, and that was all she wrote. The Vikings go into Detroit, win the game 23-14. The Lions, unfortunately, are reliving the same tale. Win 2 or 3 games, get down close to the end, then lose. This time it's the Vikings that did the job. They will take over the Lions' land and are now the team in the Midwest. Closer and closer we get to the end. The wheel will select the Kansas City Chiefs, and they're going to go straight north. And based on their current location, they're going to go into Ohio, which is, of course, Vikings territory. So we're going to get that game right now. Chiefs at Vikings. The Vikings lead 10-0 very early in the second half. Fran Tarkenton will drop back to pass. He's got all day, fires deep to John Gilliam, catches the ball in stride. Will they be able to catch up to him? They do, but he gets away, and that's a touchdown. Very long touchdown indeed. That's more than enough for the Vikings defense. They allowed a very late score. Your final is 20-17. Minnesota will win. So every time somebody grabs the biggest landmass, it seems they immediately lose it. The Chiefs have all this territory that is now all going to go to the Vikings. We're now down to our final 4 teams. The Vikings already have 4 victories. The Cowboys 1. The 49ers and Raiders, who are still in the game, have 0. And from this final 4, the wheel will select the 49ers. Arrow's going to take them southeast, so they now have to get on the field, and it's going to be in Dallas. And that didn't go so well. The Cowboys are developing a reputation for pummeling lesser opponents here in Imperialism, and that's exactly what the 49ers were in this game. Only 14-0 at the half. But yeah, that final score, Dallas 56, San Francisco 3. So, the Cowboys will take the 49ers away from this map. And just like last season, they're in the center of everything that's going on. So they're guaranteed to be in our next game. The only question is, will it be against the Raiders or the Vikings? Let's spin the wheel and find out. This will be our last stop before the championship game. The wheel will appropriately select the Cowboys. That's going to send them to the southeast. What we're going to have here are the Vikings hosting the Cowboys, and the Oakland Raiders sat in Northern California this entire time and will now find themselves in the championship game facing the winner of this one. A back and forth first half gets us to 14-14 here in the second half. Early on, both teams call an audible. Vikings drop back the pass. That's Fran Tarkenton. He's got all day. I feel like we've seen this movie before. Deep pass to John Gilliam, makes a leaping catch for the touchdown. What a great play the Vikings like to strike early in the second half. Extra point block. They add a field goal. It's 23-14. Dallas making the comeback in the fourth quarter. Staubach drops back, finds Drew Pearson in the end zone. It's not over yet. The Cowboys will be down 23-20. They're going to go for 2 because why not? I don't get it either. But they're actually going to pick it up. Walt Garrison up the middle. And now the Cowboys desperately need a stop. The Vikings have gotten to the 30-yard line. Play action fake. Tarkenton throws to John Gilliam. Who else breaks through, gets into about the 5-yard line. The Cowboys' only hope here is to hold them to a field goal. The Vikings still come out throwing because they have John Gilliam. That'll cap off a monstrous game for him. Over 200 yards, 3 touchdowns. The Vikings are going to win the game 30-22, a rather unique final score, but it's enough to get the Vikings back into the championship game. So this is where we stand. The Vikings own about 98% of the country, and the Raiders are still in their original spot. But they're going to play each other for the Imperialism Championship of 1974. For the Vikings, this will be their 4th championship game, their 2nd in a row. They're going to try to win it for the 3rd time. The Raiders are here this late in the game for the 1st time. All we need to do now is spin that wheel and find out who's going to be doing the attacking. And we're going to take a look at that spin. It is going to land on the Raiders. So, after sitting idle throughout the entire process, the Raiders will be forced to at least go on the road to Minneapolis to play the Vikings. This is Imperialism 9. The Vikings open the game with the ball. The Raiders immediately call an audible on defense. This is a play-action pass. Tarkenton rushes a throw to the fullback, and it's picked off. Nehemiah Wilson, what a way to start this game. So the Raiders come out now, first play on offense after the interception. They do a play action. Ken Stabler fires to Fred Biletnikoff, and just like that, the Raiders are going to jump out to a 7-0 lead, 36-yard touchdown. Later in the first half, we're actually in the second quarter now, it's 3rd and 13. From the 29, Stabler drops back, finds tight end Bob Moore, makes the catch, gets in for the touchdown. These early parts of the quarter are really helping the Raiders. It is 14-0. The Vikings are in a tough spot here. Let's see if they can do anything with this kickoff. Dave Osborne running it back, gets tied up, and the ball is out. That is Bubba Smith forcing that fumble. Turns into a field goal. 17-0 now. The Vikings need something here. Tarkenton throws the Jim Lash. He makes the catch and just gets away from the defense. A very important play before the half. 17-7 is the score. Now the Raiders aren't going to rest on their laurels. They're going to try to get something here. That's a quick toss to pass to Clarence Davis. And he is getting held up. He will not go down. He stayed too long. Wally Hilgenberg forces the fumble. The Vikings recover. And at 17-7, they are going to get this field goal attempt, and it's good. So it's 17-10. That's the halftime score. The Vikings force a quick 3-and-out in the second half. Another play action. The pass to John Gilliam makes a tremendous play, streaking down the field before finally going down, and he went down. He is going to be injured. He's out for the game. John Holland will replace him. Next play from the 26. Tarkenton drops back, takes off, uses his speed, and that's going to be the game-tying touchdown. The Vikings come from 17-0 to tie the game at 17. Can the Raiders respond? Second down. Play action. The pass goes to Cliff Branch. That's going to be a touchdown. So the Raiders give up their lead and take it right back. What can the Vikings do about that? They're facing a 3rd and 10. Fran Tarkenton drops back, swings it to Chuck Foreman. Can he get the first down? We're going to measure for it. He's short. What will they do? They will go for it. 4th and inches. This is a huge play. The handoff will go to Dave Osborne, blown up in the backfield. Can the Raiders take full advantage of this? From the 16, the pass to Biletnikoff is a touchdown. Stabler's 4th of the game, Biletnikoff's 2nd. 31-17. It's going to take quite a comeback for the Vikings here, but they're capable. From the 50, 3rd and 4, another play action. The pass to Jim Lash, leaps up, makes the catch, picks up 29, 30 yards. They're still in this. Very next play, they're going to do another play action. It's working. The pass to Holland for the touchdown. In for the injured John Gilliam. Bodies the defender, gets the touchdown. They're going to kick an onside kick here. 31-24. The ball's bouncing around. The Raiders fall on it. That's Gene Upshaw. 2nd and 3. The Raiders may just want to run this clock out. No, it's play action again. The pass goes to Biletnikoff. He makes the catch. Unbelievable. Can the Raiders... Maybe they want to score a touchdown here. It's 3rd and 9. And the Vikings break through the line. Jim Marshall picks up the sack. George Blanda coming out for a very important field goal attempt. From 35 yards. It's perfect. 10-point lead. The Vikings have the tiniest bit of life left in them. They've taken it all the way down to the 6-yard line. Here comes the pressure. The pass to Holland is intercepted in the end zone. Raiders safety George Atkinson making the play, and that's it. What an exciting game that was. The Raiders will take it 34-24, and the plundering is complete. The Raiders own the United States. They are the first team to win Imperialism by only playing one game. We can say they were lucky, and they certainly were, but they've taken some bad breaks in previous seasons. So maybe it balances out, but in this one game they needed to play, they went on the road against the Vikings and got the job done. Looking at real-life events from 1974, we see that the Steelers won the Super Bowl, but were unable to get the job done in Imperialism. The Vikings made that championship game and lost, and did the same thing here. Their opponents, of course, were the Raiders. The city of Oakland, the Raiders franchise, get Imperialism 9, winning it in 1974. Taking a look at this Raider roster, they've got a bunch of great names on here. Ken Stabler, a recent Hall of Famer. Fred Biletnikoff and Cliff Branch, one of the best and most underrated wide receiver combos in NFL history. But going up against that Vikings defense, it's this offensive line, led by Jim Otto, Gene Upshaw, and Art Shell, that really got the job done. Going over to the defense, I have to admit one of my favorite players in NFL history is Phil Villapiano. It's great to see him be part of a team that won Imperialism. That safety combination of Jack Tatum and George Atkinson, just as good at picking you off as they are knocking you down. All in all, a great defense, top to bottom. Our scores from 1974 have the usual mix of very close games and blowouts. On the whole, scoring was down just a little bit, but not too much more. Looking at the second half of the games, some more blowouts in there. There was no one team that really took complete control of this Imperialism, so it stands to reason that a team that only played one time got the overall victory. Speaking of which, we'll look at the records now. The Raiders topped the list at 1-0. The Vikings did win 5 games, the Steelers won 4. Only a few more teams won multiple games. Again, 12 separate teams, just like in 1973, were able to pull off a victory. Looking now at the overall standings, the Cowboys extend their lead at the top, 24 overall victories. They are trailed by the Redskins and Vikings, a couple of teams that have won Imperialism twice. The Lions continue to stun. They are 16-9 overall, but of those 16 wins, none of them were in the Imperialism Championship game. On the other hand, looking at the third column here, the Raiders at 3-8 have a championship to their name. That's incredible. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way through to the end. We really hope you enjoyed it, just as we hope you've enjoyed Imperialism videos of the past. If you're watching this on first release, in a few days we will be having the 1975 version of Imperialism ready for you. If you're watching this at some point in the future, all Imperialisms that we have done, including ones beyond this one, are posted down in the description below. While we have you here, we'd like to take the time to humbly ask that you like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, it really helps us out. Hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss out on anything else that we might do. Other videos exist on this channel beyond Imperialism, some involving sports, many others involving entertainment as well. Thank you again. Before we head out, we take one last look at the silver and black that makes up the United States of America. The Oakland Raiders, having had a bad shake of things throughout the first few seasons of this, come through. They did it in interesting fashion, but they came through and won in 1974. Thank you so much one last time for taking a look at this. We hope to see you soon. Have a great day.